Starting us off at number 10, we have the Justin Timberlake cheating scandal. If you missed this one, then prepare for your heart to be broken because, oh, this one hurts. Fans adore Justin and his wife Jessica Biel, who are married and have 2 kids together. Honestly, they seem to be the power couple in Hollywood. But that all changed in 2019 when photos leaked online showing Justin holding hands and getting cozy with his co-star Alicia Wainwright. The pictures were taken in New Orleans where he was filming, and apparently the cast had a night off and decided to go to a local bar. In the pictures, Justin is having drinks, holding her hand, and she is also stroking his knee at one point. But what most people pointed out very quickly was that he did not have his wedding ring on. For obvious reasons, this started a huge cheating rumor mill, but Justin released a public statement saying nothing happened further than those photos. He apologized and said that his actions were wrong, and Jessica Biel gave him a chance to prove himself. She was very forgiving. Up next, number 9, we have the epic elevator fight. This one shocked everyone when video footage surfaced in 2014 of Solange Knowles and Jay-Z having an argument in an elevator. Surveillance footage at a hotel caught Solange physically attacking her brother-in-law, who didn't put his hands on her at any point in this footage. It was a bit confusing for people to watch because the elevator ride was just quiet and normal at first, but then what seemed like out of nowhere, she just snaps and starts to kick him. Fans got an explanation later on when reports claimed that she was mad at Jay-Z for allegedly getting too close with Rachel Roy, his business partner's wife. But the 2 of them spoke on it later on and said that alcohol was involved and that they have worked it out and they are on good terms again. Basically, they said it was very simple. They are like brother and sister, and so they fight like brother and sister. I've been there. My sister's chased me around with a hammer one day and then loves me the next. And that's a fact. Cruising to the number 8 spot is Miley Cyrus's bong video. Back in 2010, this was one of the biggest scandals to happen because it was a Disney star gone wild situation. Miley had been exposed on social media and in paparazzi many times, but she doesn't seem too bothered by it usually. But she probably cared a little bit more about this scandal because someone exposed her online in a video of her hitting a bong on her 18th birthday. Let's keep in mind that during this time, this was not legal by any means, and she was still associated with the Disney Channel, so obviously it was very detrimental to her career and reputation. After Disney started making public statements about it, Miley claimed that she was smoking salvia, which is a natural and legal herb with psychedelic properties. No one believed her though, in all honesty, and then years down the road she admitted to what it really was, which we already knew. But okay, Miley. Moving on to number 7, we have Reese Witherspoon's DUI. That is a sentence that I never thought I would say. No one wants their personal life getting caught on camera, but you most definitely do not want a DUI getting caught on camera. Or your legal record for that. It's worse in Reese's case because hers was filmed and then exposed to the entire world. It happened back in 2013 when she was with her husband at the time, Jim Toth, and they were pulled over by an Atlanta cop on suspicion of a DUI. The police dash cam caught the whole thing on tape and showed Reese going into some erratic rage, which actually led to her being arrested. Her husband was the one driving, so he was actually the one with the drink driving charge, but Reese was intoxicated and just felt feisty, and she felt the need to stick up for her husband. In the video, you can see Reese yelling at the police officers and not listening to their orders, which were telling her to sit down. They ended up putting her in handcuffs, and then she lies to them saying that she's pregnant and has to pee as an attempt to get out of the handcuffs. They ended up both being arrested, and she ended up pleading no contest to physical obstruction of another, and Jim pled guilty to his DUI. In spot number 6, we have Winona Ryder's shoplifting scandal. She has one of the most trending surveillance tapes from any celebrity misconduct that's ever been caught on camera. The footage was released back in 2001 when she was one of the biggest Hollywood stars at the time that everyone was talking about. But then everyone was talking about her for all the wrong reasons. Video footage leaked and showed her shoplifting merchandise worth $5,000 from Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills. The incident and legal battle put her career on hold for a while, but later down the road, she said that it was the best thing that could have happened to her at that point in her life. She explained and said that she felt like she was hitting a wall, and what happened gave her the time off that she needed. Honestly, I don't get when like celebrities shoplift. Like, you are rich and you could probably get half that stuff for free simply because of who you are. Like, what are you doing shoplifting? You have $5,000. Halfway through our list at number 5 is Offset getting arrested. He was making a lot of negative headlines in 2020, but none of them compared to this one. The rapper was questioned by police while he was driving through a President Trump rally at the time, but it all happened while he was live streaming on Instagram. The cops confronted him while he was in the car and claimed that witnesses said they saw that he was waving an illegal weapon outside of the car window. When they asked him to get out of the car, he refused to, and then things started to get more serious and they had to remove him from the car. That is when the live stream stopped at that point, and then reports say that he was arrested. Later on, the Beverly Hills Police Department tweeted a statement that clarified Cardi B's cousin, Marcelo Almanzar, was in the passenger seat of Offset's car, and he was the one who was charged for carrying a concealed weapon and carrying a loaded handheld in public. So it wasn't actually Offset committing the crime, but he was still there and very involved in it. Here we are now at number 4, and we have Charlie Sheen's rant. You're probably wondering which one, because he's had so many, but who could ever forget the time he did a webcast series called Sheen's Corner and made a fool out of himself. After he was fired from his long-term CBS show 2.5 Men, he went on live streams and shared all of his thoughts and feelings on the situation, which was not pleasant. It was basically just a long rant where he stood in his kitchen smoking a cigarette and drinking alcohol. He admitted to the camera that he hadn't even had breakfast yet, but that he was polishing off a bottle of liquor instead. The whole stream was very erratic. He was making inappropriate jokes, blurting out random things, and just acting very manic. But in later years, he talked about that and said he had an addiction to alcohol and substances at that time, and his behavior was also a side effect to the steroids that he was taking. So it was more serious than we thought. I just thought he was crazy. He had a serious addiction at the time. In our 3rd spot, we have Amaranth got banned from Twitch. The content creator's real name is Caitlin Siragusa, and she is one of the biggest streamers on the platform. She was banned recently after doing a live stream which they deemed as inappropriate. She told Polygon that the reason behind her ban was sexual content. In the stream that had her banned, she did an ASMR yoga stream where she held various yoga poses and then simulated the sound of having your ear licked using her microphone. She didn't find the ban fair and said that she's not the first person to do an ASMR yoga stream, but her content has pushed the boundaries on more than one occasion. She has also been criticized for doing hot tub ASMR live streams where she does similar things while wearing a bikini. The internet wants her completely canceled into her career, and she said she's considered leaving the Twitch platform after all the hate she is getting. Taking over spot number 2 is Lindsay Lohan's pictures. Back in 2007, she was arrested for a DUI and was sentenced to 90 days in jail for violating the probation terms. She was ordered to go to rehab after that, but no one really knew how serious her addiction was. It wasn't until photos leaked 3 years later in 2010 that the truth came out about her substance addiction. Photos leaked online showing Lindsay taking substances, and fans were shocked to see how dark things were for her. The pictures were allegedly from a Hollywood party in 2007 that Lindsay and her friends attended. A source talked about it and said, "These images with the syringe are terrifying. What no one knows for certain is just how often Lindsay does substances or exactly what she does." The photos that they were referring to was a picture of an unidentified person putting a syringe into Lindsay's lower back. We obviously cannot show these images, but that's what it was. The positive news was she attended a 90-day court-ordered rehab program following her release from prison in August and was said to have sobered up. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, go Google these pictures. She made out with Paris Hilton in one. She has a syringe and another one that she's putting into her arm. I couldn't believe it. It was so dark and so twisted. I'm happy she's doing better, and I hope she truly is. Earning our number 1 spot is Jeff Wittick's accident. The YouTuber had a horrific eye injury during one of his vlog stunts, but no one really knew what happened until recently. He came forward with the truth during a documentary series called Don't Try This at Home. In the series, he explained what happened during a stunt on an excavator that was being controlled by David Dobrik. The horrific accident was actually captured on camera, and it showed people, including Jeff, telling David not to move the excavator so fast. David was the one in control of the whole thing, and he is the reason the accident happened, no doubt. The images and video are so graphic that they cannot be shown online. Jeff actually charged $20 on his Patreon for people to gain access to the gruesome footage. In his documentary series, doctors actually tell him that he was just inches away from his life being threatened. For this reason, and for how David handled the accident aftermath, people were furious at David and they started canceling him online. It was a big, messy, chaotic drama. It was just a lot of drama. Good news is Jeff has undergone multiple major surgeries on his face and his eye, and right now he is still able to see out of that injured eye. However, that could change for him. Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is the Kevin Hart cheating scandal. In 2017, he broke the internet after video footage leaked and showed him with another woman. Allegations flooded the internet claiming that he had cheated on his wife at the time, Aniko Parrish, who was 8 months pregnant with their son. Kevin was denying the rumors at the time, but then landed in the middle of an extortion attempt. Someone allegedly was in possession of a video of him with another woman engaging in sexual activity, and they were going to expose him if he did not give the money. Aniko later explained how she found out about the cheating scandal, and it was actually through a DM. She said, "I was about 7 or 8 months pregnant and I was having breakfast and I opened my phone and immediately I just lost it." Kevin finally admitted to it and released a public apology to his wife and family, and the two of them worked through it and they are still together to this day. They even have more babies together. Moving on to number 9, we have the infamous Pamela Anderson sex tape. This scandal is so crazy that it's almost too crazy to believe, but it is still one of the most talked about controversies. They actually have a TV series coming out about it. It was back in 1995 when she made a tape with her husband at the time, Tommy Lee. They made the tape during their honeymoon and said that it was never meant for anyone else's eyes. But just a few months after being filmed, it was being watched by millions of people. Turns out they were having their Malibu home renovated and had many workers at the time working on their home. An electrician named Rand Gauthier said that they owed him $20,000 but refused to pay it, so he wanted revenge. He ended up plotting a heist and stole their safe from their garage, which was filled with their jewelry, other prized possessions, and their tape. In order to avoid the security cameras, he disguised himself as the couple's dog by draping a white fur cover over himself, and then once he was inside, he lifted the safe and used a U-Haul dolly to move it. Like, I'm not even kidding, you cannot make this up. Of course, he then leaked the tape and it actually made $77 million in less than 12 months. Wow. In the number 8 spot is Mike Tyndall. This was one of the biggest cheating scandals in Hollywood because it is never a good idea to cheat on the Queen of England's granddaughter. The English rugby player cheated on his wife Zara Phillips back in 2011. Well, he did, or he attempted to, we're still not very sure. It was only a few weeks after he married the second child of Queen Elizabeth's daughter, Anne. Video footage captured him kissing, so I guess he technically did cheat then, but he still denies it. Anyway, video footage captured him kissing a mysterious blonde woman in New Zealand, and the world was shocked. The incident was caught on CCTV cameras and then went viral immediately. Because it involved a member of the royal family, the scandal blew up even bigger than people expected. However, despite the massive scandal, the two of them continued to stay married. Cruising into number 7 is Ariana Grande and the donut. This one is a little more ridiculous compared to the other ones. Who would have thought a donut would cause so much drama? Back in 2015, Ariana was exposed after someone posted surveillance footage of her licking a donut. She and her boyfriend at the time, Ricky Alvarez, decided to play truth or dare at a donut shop, and apparently that was one of the dares. In the footage, you can see them daring each other to lick the donuts that were on display for purchase. People thought it was inconsiderate to the business, obviously, but there was more to it. In the video, you can also hear her saying, "I hate Americans, I hate America." So obviously, Americans weren't very thrilled about it. She faced a ton of backlash for it and released an apology video taking responsibility for her actions. Like, what? Who'd be out here just licking donuts on display? She probably had to buy them all after that. Rolling into the number 6 spot is Tristan Thompson caught cheating. Technically speaking, his scandal was 2 different times because he was caught cheating twice. What a guy. The first time was when his girlfriend Khloe Kardashian was in the hospital about to give birth to their daughter. Security footage leaked online showing him kissing another woman in a nightclub more than one time. On top of that, video footage showed him going to a hotel with that same woman that he was kissing in the club. After the scandal blew over and she gave birth to their daughter, she did decide to forgive him and stayed with him. But then later down the road, it was revealed that he had cheated once again, but with Kylie Jenner's best friend, Jordyn Woods, who was basically a sister to Khloe and the rest of their family. I remember when the video first broke the internet, it was crazy because like news articles announced that Khloe was in labor and then Tristan was out cheating while she's in the hospital. It was crazy. It was nuts. Yet she stayed. Halfway through our list, at number 5, we have Kylie Jenner's pregnancy. Well, Kylie Jenner's secret pregnancy. That is why it was such a controversy. Normally, a woman becoming pregnant is very exciting news, but because she was 20 at the time and keeping it a secret, it was a more scandalous situation. Back in 2018, Kylie seemed to go quiet for a while from the Hollywood limelight, and no one understood why. For months, people were speculating that she was pregnant, but no one could ever get confirmation until the paparazzi finally got pictures of her with her very pregnant belly. The photos leaked online and it caused some outrage because fans just didn't know why she kept it a secret. She ended up apologizing in an Instagram post saying, "I'm sorry for keeping you in the dark through all the assumptions. I understand you're used to me bringing you along on all my journeys. My pregnancy was one I chose not to do in front of the world." She shared her entire pregnancy though in a video called "To Our Daughter," which was filled with videos and photos that she took along the way while she was hiding it from the world. It was actually beautiful. I watched it. It was so cute. Cruising into number 4, we have A$AP Rocky's arrest. It was a very dramatic event in 2019 when TMZ released a video showing that the rapper got into a street fight while he was in Sweden. Just days later, he was detained by the Swedish court for a suspected attack. It didn't help that there was video footage linking him to the case, but he maintained the claim that he was acting in self-defense. His detainment made worldwide news and even got the attention of Kim Kardashian and former President Donald Trump, who warned Sweden there would be negative consequences if they did not release him from prison. He ended up being found guilty of the assault but was able to avoid jail time. Instead, he was handed a suspended sentence after the court found that the incident was not of such serious nature to warrant more time behind bars. He did pay the victim $1,300 in damages, and that was it. Rolling into number 3 is the Kanye West and Taylor Swift feud. I don't think anyone will ever forget the most cringe-worthy moment in award show history. The time in 2009 at the MTV Video Music Awards when Kanye West walked up on stage and grabbed the mic from her hand during the middle of her acceptance speech. She was accepting the award for Best Female Video when he took the mic and announced to the room and the entire world that she did not deserve the award and that Beyonce should have won it. He gave a big speech about how Beyonce's video for Single Ladies and how it was the best music video ever created, apparently, which was pretty good, but like, rude. The entire thing was incredibly awkward, and even Beyonce felt horrible about the situation and looked horrified when he did it. But later in the show, when Beyonce won an award, she called Taylor up on stage to let her finish her speech during her speech time. So it was really cute. Taking over our number 2 spot is Mel Gibson's leaked audio. Back in 2012, there was a crazy incident that went down between Mel and screenwriter Joe Esterhaz. Joe and his family were actually staying at Mel's home in Costa Rica when he went off on a crazy rant that left them terrified. What happened was, Mel was supposed to direct a movie called The Maccabees, but Warner Brothers passed on it after reading the script, which apparently Joe had written. Joe claimed that Mel purposely sabotaged the film, which was about a famous 2nd century BC Jewish revolt, and said that he did it for anti-Semitic reasons. The audio from his rant leaked because Joe's son had recorded it on his iPod. In his rant, he was lashing out at Joe for apparently not working hard enough on the script and blaming him for the reasons the movie was not moving forward. You can hear him cursing and throwing things, and Joe says he released the audio on purpose so that everyone could see how Mel is behind closed doors. We already knew that though. His DUI, his other racist rant that he went on. We already know. In our number 1 spot is Kurt Cobain. The most serious and controversial scandal on this list was the passing of the legendary musician and the debate that still remains around it. In 1994, he was found passed away in his home from a self-inflicted shotgun wound to the head. That is what the police report conducted at the time, and photos of the crime scene were leaked online. People immediately started investigating the photos and then speculated on whether or not it was really self-inflicted. Some people pointed the finger at his then wife Courtney Love. Since that day, tons of theories have floated around about who it may have been and what really happened to him. Honestly, if it wasn't for the released photos and the final letter that was found in his home, people probably wouldn't have been as skeptical. The letter was inconsistent and raised a lot of questions, and the position of his body in the photos and then the things around him in the scene just didn't add up, and it still remains a mystery to this day. Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is the Miley Cyrus kiss. You are probably wondering which one. It was the one that surprised everyone because it was so random and came shortly after the news that she had split from her husband Liam Hemsworth. In the summer of 2019, photos went viral showing Miley on vacation kissing and cuddling with Caitlyn Carter, Brody Jenner's wife. People were very confused, but turns out Caitlyn and Brody had split very recently, and so did Liam and Miley. So the pictures were also a shock not only to fans, but just everyone involved. Their fling only lasted a month, but Caitlyn has since opened up about how hard it was for her. She said, "I went on vacation with a female friend. The next thing I knew, I was in love with her. Until that trip, it had never crossed my mind that I was even capable of loving a woman the way I loved her." She told herself that all her relationships after that one will be kept more private. Even though she and Miley did try to keep it private, the paparazzi got them. I remember they're kissing, they were under a hat trying to kiss, and it was like, busted, ladies. Up next, number 9, we have Hugh Grant getting caught with a lady of the night, if you know what I mean. It was back in 1995 when he was caught on the Sunset Strip having an affair, paying a woman to get intimate with him in his car. He got busted and was arrested for lewd conduct in a public place. The news itself was a huge scandal because he was a huge Hollywood celebrity getting caught in the act, but it was a very sticky situation because he was with his longtime girlfriend at the time, Elizabeth Hurley. So not only did he publicly cheat on her, but it happened with someone that he paid. The two of them still tried to work through it as she chose to forgive him at the time, but things did not work out. In the end, she ended up leaving him 5 years later after this scandalous incident. Sliding into number 8 is the infamous Princess Diana affair. This one could be seen as the biggest affair in all of Hollywood history since it involved people with such royalty. It was back in 1992 when The Sun leaked a transcript of phone calls that were captured between Princess Diana and James Gilby. The secret phone calls revealed the affair she was having on Prince Charles at the time, as the two of them were still married. It was a massive scandal, but got even more controversial when it was revealed that Charles was also having an affair with his now wife, Camilla Parker Bowles. So both members of royalty did not remain loyal in their marriage, and obviously the rest of the world was freaking out about it. In spot number 7, we have Madonna, Christina, and Britney kissing. It has now gone down in history as one of the biggest moments caught on camera, even becoming a viral gif and meme. If this whole thing happened in 2021, it would never be a controversy, but things were a lot different back in 2003 when it happened. It was during the MTV Video Awards when Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, and Madonna performed together and ended up locking lips. Madonna just felt the need to rock the boat a little bit and kiss both of them during the live performance. Because times were so different back then, the camera switched their shots quickly and cut to a shot of Justin Timberlake's very confused reaction. He was dating Britney at the time and looked just as confused as everyone else did. They ended up cutting the kiss shots out and they did not televise it, but the footage and photos were already all over the internet and they live on to this day. What an iconic moment. Next up at number 6, we have Britney Spears getting called a terrible mother. When asking Britney about it, this scandal was just one big misunderstanding, but to the public it was something very serious. In February of 2006, the paparazzi got photos of Britney driving in her car with her infant son on her lap instead of in a car seat in the back. The photos went viral immediately and media outlets began calling her a bad mother, obviously concerned for the safety of her child. But Britney tried to explain what happened and said that she was in a, I quote, horrifying, frightful encounter with the paparazzi. She said it was just a spur of the moment thing that she needed to get out of there as quickly as possible for her safety as well as her son's, and she didn't have time to just stand there and buckle him in the car seat. Her intentions were to just leave the area to get away from the paparazzi and then buckle him in his seat like usual, but of course, this was still a very dangerous decision and situation. At number 5, we have Leanne Rimes and Eddie Cibrian cheating scandal. This one was messy. The two of them were co-stars in the 2009 movie Northern Lights, but they seemed to grow a closer relationship than just co-stars. At the time, Leanne was married to the dancer Dean Shermitt for 9 years, and Eddie was married to model Brandy Granville. During the shoot of their movie, they upgraded their friendship to another level, and surveillance footage caught the whole thing on tape. Video footage from a restaurant showed the two of them having dinner together and even sharing a kiss and holding hands. Even though the footage showed them straight up kissing, the two of them denied infidelity, which just made people even more angry at the situation because, like, you got caught. What do you mean? Sniping our number 4 spot is David Hasselhoff Drunken Hamburger Feast. If this is your first time hearing about it, then you're probably really confused as to what I'm talking about. It seemed silly at first, but it was actually a lot more serious than people knew. The video footage surfaced online back in 2007 and was actually exposed on social media by his own daughter. She didn't have bad intentions, she just posted the video clips online thinking no one would see it or that no one would really pay attention to it. The video showed her dad completely wasted, lying on the floor, struggling to eat a hamburger, which normally would be funny to watch, but he is a recovering addict, and the video exposed that he was no longer sober like he was claiming to be. In the video, you can hear his 16-year-old daughter saying, I quote, "Dad, you need to promise me you're not gonna get alcohol tonight, okay? If you get alcohol tonight, you are fired from your show tomorrow. And a doctor is coming over here in the morning to check your alcohol level, and if there's any alcohol in your system, you're going to be fired." So it was actually a lot more serious than people thought. David ended up admitting to his relapse and issued an apology. Taking over our 3rd spot is Jamie Lynn Spears and the Pita Pit fight. A lot of people learned not to mess with Britney Spears' little sister back in 2015 after surveillance footage showed her doing something crazy. She was having lunch at a Pita Pit restaurant when a fight just broke out in the dining area, which actually included one of her friends. Jamie was not actually involved in the fight and she was trying to break it up, but it was unsuccessful, so she did the unthinkable. She actually was able to grab her friend and pulled her out of this brawl, and then she walks behind the food counter and grabs a bread knife and starts waving it around as a warning to the people fighting. No one got hurt, and no, she did not actually use the knife on anyone, but who knew that this Nickelodeon star had that kind of fight in her? That is pretty badass, I'm not gonna lie. Swinging around a bread knife. I can't even imagine. Moving on to the number 2 spot is Kate Moss gets caught with substances. The famous incident happened in 2005, and by that time, everyone knew that the English supermodel was having some substance issues, but this was the first time that her addiction came out as a legit story. Video footage surfaced online showing the model snorting 5 lines in the course of 40 minutes. Turns out there was a hidden camera in the recording studio that she had been hanging out in with her then boyfriend Pete Doherty. Once the photos and video footage surfaced everywhere, she lost all of her fashion clients like Burberry and H&M, who ended their campaigns with her immediately. All of the contracts that she lost were worth more than $4 million. Rumor has it though that the only brand to actually stick by her during that time was Chanel, who announced that they were willing to renew her contract despite what happened in that video. Earning a number 1 spot is Caitlyn Jenner's car accident. This one is more serious than some of the other ones on our list, and it turned into a significant legal battle. Caitlyn got into a car accident back in 2015, which quickly turned into a serious lawsuit after one person was killed. Caitlyn was uninjured in the crash, but after being exposed on social media, she was deemed a lawsuit for wrongful death. Video footage was posted online which captured the entire accident on camera, showing Caitlin's Escalade. Her Escalade was carrying an off-road vehicle and she ended up hitting two cars, causing one car to hit the other car. One of the drivers, Kim Howe, was 69 years old at the time and sadly passed away in the crash. At the time of the investigation, even though the tape clearly shows who is at fault, she was able to walk away without any charges. However, 3 years after the accident in 2018, she was sentenced to pay $800,000 for the settlement of the case. Starting us off at number 10 is Billie Eilish canceled. She recently became the newest celebrity to get canceled after an old video of her resurfaced and went viral on TikTok. A video clip was shared on TikTok and showed Billie lip syncing to a song which includes a derogatory term towards Asian people. She mouthed the word in the video and people were not impressed. More videos then began to surface of her speaking in this gibberish voice, which was interpreted as a derogatory mock Asian accent. She was taking the heat online and went silent for a while before finally speaking out. She posted a long post on her Instagram story apologizing and explained that at that time when she mouthed the word, she was only 13 or 14 years old and didn't know that it was a derogatory term. As for the accent, she stood firm on the fact that she's always spoken in these weird, funny voices her whole life and said that she was not mocking the Asian community at all. She continued to apologize though if things were misinterpreted and said that she is still listening and still learning. Up next, number 9, we have Kim Kardashian's commercial fail. At this point, the Kardashians are getting used to being accused for photoshopping their images, but she was honestly caught red-handed during her recent Skims commercial. Her newest ad for her brand Skims, a body shapewear line, showed her lying sideways on the ground and running her fingers across her body. But fans were quick to point out that when her finger dragged along her hip, it went all like distorted and wavy in a way that fingers don't bend. One TikTok video which showed the commercial fail quickly reached over 20 million views with the caption, "Who approved of this editing?" The video flooded with comments of people saying it was so disappointing to see that her body was edited and that this is the message she's sending out to her fans with her body shapewear brand. BuzzFeed reached out to Kim for comment, but she did not want to comment on it. However, the ad was pulled not long after, and a Skims spokesperson told Page 6, immediately after it was noticed by the team, the video was pulled and the glitch-free version was uploaded and ran for the remainder of the time on air. So apparently it was a glitch. I'm not buying it. You can, but I'm not buying it. Sliding into number 8 is the Kristen Stewart cheating scandal. It's hard to forget the time when the actress crushed the hearts of millions of Twilight fans, also along with her boyfriend's heart. It was in 2011 when she got caught on camera cheating on her boyfriend and co-star Robert Pattinson. Paparazzi photos surfaced showing Kristen making out with another man. But the scandal caused a ton of controversy because she was caught kissing Rupert Sanders, who is actually the director of her movie The Snow White and the Huntsman, and he was also married. He was 41 years old at the time and Kristen was only 22, and he was married to Liberty Ross, who was also the mother of their 2 children. The steamy makeout pictures were everywhere, so she could not deny this one. Instead, she issued a public apology, but Robert never forgave her. They split. That was it. I was heartbroken. I remember it very clearly. In spot number 7, we have Kanye West has a new girlfriend. Controversy sparked when photos surfaced online of Kanye with another woman not long after he split from Kim Kardashian. Photos showed Kanye with Irina Shayk having a romantic stroll in France shortly after the news broke that he got a divorce from Kim. Reports say that they stayed together in this very boutique hotel and they were celebrating his 44th birthday. Kanye's 44? Oh my god. I didn't know he was that old. No offense. Rumors claim that the romance began last month with claims that they were secretly dating this whole time. But then just days after these pictures went viral, more photos of Irina surfaced of her with her ex, Bradley Cooper, who is also the father of her child. The two of them share a daughter and they have been co-parenting for some time now, but people aren't sure what it means for them, like these pictures. Witnesses who saw them out in public said it looked like they were just enjoying some family time together. So everything is still up in the air, but articles are still referring to Irina as Kanye's girlfriend. So moving on to number 6, we have Christina Aguilera's spray tan. Hers was more of an embarrassing moment than a scandal, but either way, I'm sure she wishes it did not happen to her. The moment was extra embarrassing because it was caught on camera live during a performance that aired. She was singing at the Etta James Memorial Service, and while her vocals were on point, her spray tan wasn't. The cameras captured her spray tan dripping down her legs. At first, people didn't know what it was, and people actually thought it might be blood dripping down her leg, but it was just her self-tanner. She must have got a spray tan too recently, and with the combination of the hot lights, maybe nerves, sweat, I'm not really sure, but her tan started to drip off. Spray tan 101, man. Don't get a spray tan if you know you're gonna be doing that. Halfway through the list at number 5 is Bryce Hall. That's all, just Bryce Hall. It is safe to say the TikTok star has had many scandals in his career so far, but one of them was a physical altercation that got caught on camera. It was actually 2 incidents on 2 different occasions. The first one was in late 2020 when he posted a video of he and his friends physically attacking an unknown man outside of a restaurant. He exposed himself and tweeted the video and said, "We don't condone violence, but if you punch someone in front of us, we'll have no choice but to defend ourselves." But Bryce's security guard was in the video with them, and everyone was quick to say that the altercation could have been avoided and that posting the video was showing that you did condone the violence. Then, just a few weeks after this first video, another one leaked online of Bryce attacking a server at a restaurant in LA. Apparently, in LA, it is illegal to vape in restaurants, and when the server told him to stop, he got mad and attacked the employee. The footage was crazy, and unfortunately, we cannot share it on here, so I apologize. But the fighting videos are pretty wild to watch. Moving on to number 4, we have the Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction. A moment caught on camera that will forever be remembered. You might have even guessed that it would be on this list. It wasn't just caught on camera though, it was actually aired live in front of the entire world. Back in 2004, she paired up with Justin Timberlake to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show, and as most of us know it, things did not go to plan. Near the end of the song, they were performing some of the rehearsed choreography, and Justin was supposed to pull off part of her costume, but instead of revealing what was underneath, he exposed her bare breast instead. One of the worst fails ever at the worst timing. It was said that at that halftime show, it had 140 million viewers that night. Taking 3rd place is Lamar Odom's paparazzi freakout. Celebrities having a little freakout on the paparazzi isn't anything new, but this one crossed the line and took things too far. The NBA star was exposed in some leaked video footage where he was yelling at a paparazzi man and destroying all of his equipment. Turns out the pap had asked him about his affair on Khloe Kardashian at the time, and he lost his cool. He found the pap's car, which was parked nearby, and he took a crowbar, opened it, and started throwing all of his camera equipment in the middle of the road. Even after he had thrown it on the ground, he went over to it, picked it up, and just kept smashing it to make sure that it was broken. Tons of people were driving by, so fans were just standing there confused watching the whole thing happen. The man ended up pressing charges though, and Lamar paid him for new equipment and apologized. Rolling into the number 2 spot, we have Paris Hilton. I'm sure you can guess which one this is. Another sex tape scandal that we could never forget. It's tough to say if this was technically caught on camera or not, since she participated in the video, but the whole scandal has been a huge controversy because a lot of people think that it was a publicity stunt. Back in 2003, her tape was allegedly leaked online, but things seem to be a bit sketchy. The video was called One Night in Paris and showed footage of her and her ex-boyfriend Rick Salomon. But when it was leaked, the video footage at that point was 3 years old, so people didn't know why it just randomly came out 3 years later. Paris claimed that her ex leaked it, but people think she did it because it was leaked just before the premiere of her new reality show. I personally don't want to say that she leaked it in case she really didn't, because that is a horrible thing to have something intimate and personal leaked online like that, but all the articles I have read claim that it was a PR stunt and that she did benefit from it. if you know what I'm saying. She got money. Winning the #1 place is the Britney Spears umbrella drama. While it may have seemed funny at the time, in more recent years we learned that it was actually more serious than anyone knew, and Britney was really struggling with mental health issues at that time. The incidents became a meme and a gif for many years, but now it's not so funny anymore. Back in 2007, we saw footage of her freaking out on paparazzi and smashing their car with an umbrella. In the same night, we also saw footage of her going to a hair salon and shaving off all her hair, and then getting a tattoo just a few moments later. The night was very chaotic, and people didn't understand why she was just spiraling out of control. The umbrella from the incident was actually kept by the paparazzi man who got attacked, and 10 years after the incident, he auctioned it off in LA and was starting the bid for $50,000.
Number 10 on this list is J-Lo's and Alex Rodriguez's breakup. After 4 years together and an engagement, the pair cut ties and went their separate ways earlier this year. Now the breakup itself, it seemed rather amicable on the surface. They both said, "We will continue to work together and support each other on our shared businesses and projects. We wish the best for each other and one another's children's." Out of respect for them, the only other comment we have to say is thank you to everybody who has sent kind words and support. So, all of that honestly seems really nice. However, it didn't take Lopez very long to move on from A-Rod and go back to an old flame in Ben Affleck. Fans have speculated if there was potentially something going on between them prior to the breakup, but nothing of significance has gone to proving that. Meanwhile, A-Rod is still recovering from the loss. He's been posting a lot more on his Instagram in what fans believe is an effort to make J-Lo jealous. He has also been captioning things like, "I've fallen and I can't get up, and I'm good with that." But I'm not totally sure if you are though, Alex, because the day that the breakup was announced, he posted a video with Coldplay's Fix You playing in the background as he shared photos of him and Lopez very much in love. The super amicable joint breakup that was portrayed may have been a lot more one-sided than we initially thought. Number 9 on this list is the conflict that had arisen from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle with the royal family. The couple now lives in California, far from the reaches of the British crown. They no longer live near their relative royals due to some pretty bad blood that has gone down in the family over the past several years. In 2018, Meghan and Harry, they got married and they were immediately on the cover of every tabloid one could think of. What we weren't aware of though was that there was a little bit of trouble in paradise. The pair eventually stepped down from their royal duties as they felt increasingly ostracized from the other royals. A very close family friend came out and said, "There is so much bad blood in that family, it's toxic." Over this past year, Harry has apparently tried to make contact with his father, but has said that he's been cut out completely. His phone calls often going straight to voicemail. It seems that the bad blood is still very thick, and that even a move to California hasn't fixed the underlying problems that the royal family has. Number 8 on this list is less of a scandal and more of like a what? Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were on Dax Shepard's podcast having an interview when they said on that show that they don't bathe their kids until they can see dirt on them. Like, what? Like, how often do your kids have dirt on them? I can't imagine it's that much. This wasn't the end of this little tidbit of information though, because Kristen Bell decided that she wanted to weigh in on the pressing issue. She came out and said, and I quote, "I'm a big fan of waiting for the stink. Once you catch a whiff, that's biology's way of letting you know you need to clean it up. There's a red flag. Honestly, it's just bacteria. Once you get bacteria, you gotta be like, get in the tub or shower." End quote. So I hear you with that, Kristen, like I do, but I feel like I'm not the weird one for saying that having a regularly scheduled showering time is kind of the norm. I mean, at least the kids are probably loving this, like they barely have to bathe. Number 7 on this list is the pettiest move in history by Conor McGregor. Conor has been in the media a lot recently, but it hasn't been for his fighting prowess. It has been for various allegations that really put his character into question. One of these allegations was an charge that he actually pleaded guilty to. Back in 2019 in an Irish pub, McGregor sucker punched a man in the back of his head as the man was drinking his whiskey. Clearly they had had a verbal altercation, but it didn't need to go to a physical place. Even though that was 2 years ago and McGregor was clearly in the wrong, he hasn't let it go. In fact, in 2021, Connor returned to that same pub that the incident happened at, but this time with a big fat check. He bought that Irish pub from the owner, and directly after the news broke that he did this, he tweeted out, "Yeah, and your man's barred." This was in reference to the person that he had hit 2 years ago. So McGregor literally went out of his way to spend an abhorrent amount of money by this bar just so he could get the last laugh in a dispute that should have been settled years ago. If that doesn't scream petty, I'm not sure what does. Number 6 on this list is Chrissy Teigen. The 35-year-old supermodel and wife of musician John Legend had her name in the media for all the wrong reasons when she was called out for a controversial bullying scandal. Courtney Stodden, a 27-year-old supermodel, called out Chrissy for an array of bashful tweets and messages that left her feeling very small. After this came out, several others followed suit and reported that Chrissy had left them feeling worthless, with one individual saying that they even considered suicide after working with her. Chrissy Teigen took some serious time away from the media, and it seems as if that was the right choice. She's come back now and is apparently a stronger person. She says that she is over 100 days sober and feels a lot more clear-headed. Hopefully all of that is true and that the harsher side of Chrissy is left in the past.
At number 5, DaBaby. This year, rapper DaBaby became one of the latest celebrities to be cancelled. He got into quite the controversy after he said some pretty offensive things while on stage performing at Rolling Loud in Miami. While on stage, the rapper made offensive comments about the gay community as well as HIV and AIDS, calling it a quote, deadly sexually transmitted disease that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks. He also went on to say some more homophobic things about gay men that also added fuel to the fire. Celebrities like Dua Lipa and Elton John condemned the rapper's comments and tried to take the rapper's cancellation as an opportunity to educate the public on what DaBaby said, how it was wrong, and also put an effort into trying to educate the public specifically on HIV and AIDS to put the stigma spread by DaBaby's comments to rest. Because of this scandal, the rapper got into some real hot water with the LGBTQ+ community and lost a lot of support as well. At number 4, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Earlier this year, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry sat down for an exclusive interview with Oprah where they went in depth about their split from the royal family, as well as their feelings of having been part of it. A lot of information was shared as they opened up a lot about their life, and it ended up causing quite the controversy. The couple spoke a lot about their perspective of life in the royal family, raising their son, their marriage, and they also spoke out about their mental health. Meghan even opened up saying that there was a time where she wanted to take her own life. Her confession about having those thoughts ended up causing quite a controversy as people started questioning her mental health and whether that statement was actually true or not. The biggest debate on this topic came from TV presenter Piers Morgan, and he had a lot to say about Meghan and the interview. So much so that he ended up losing his job because he went overboard with the criticisms and hate, and the backlash he started to face made it difficult to continue. This interview was just supposed to be an exclusive interview to check in on the royal couple after they left the royal family, but because of all the information that was shared that day, it blew up into a huge scandal that was in the news for weeks. At number 3, Dr. Phil. Earlier this year, Dr. Phil was exposed and cancelled following rapper Bad Baby's YouTube video where she spoke out about the treatment that she experienced from a youth reform camp that she was sent to after her time on Dr. Phil's show. The rapper, whose real name is Danielle Bregoli, posted a video to her YouTube channel where she opened up about what she experienced, detailing how staff at the camp called Turnabout Ranch treated her and other kids. In the video, she shared how she was taken from her home in the middle of the night, handcuffed, and wasn't allowed to sleep or shower for 3 days. She also told her viewers that staff used restraints on people and that some people had also claimed to have been assaulted while there. Danielle exposed Dr. Phil because he was the one who recommended this camp and has been doing so for such a long time. People were absolutely furious with Dr. Phil because he condoned such a horrific place, and he was cancelled for it. Danielle demanded that Dr. Phil apologize for his actions and for supporting Turnabout Ranch. People find it hard to believe that he had no prior knowledge of what was going on at the ranch, and so when he faced backlash for it all, people said that this was all his own fault. At number 2, Jessie Nelson. On October 8th this year, former Little Mix member Jessie Nelson released her music video for her song Boys featuring Nicki Minaj. After the video dropped, backlash ensued as viewers immediately started speculating on whether or not Jessie was deliberately trying to portray herself as a black woman for the content, and people started calling her out for blackfishing. Blackfishing is a term given when a non-black person alters their appearance to resemble someone who is black or mixed by playing off black aesthetics and styles. In the Boys music video, fans pointed out that Jessie was using a lot of black-centric aesthetics, most noticeably a darker tan. But with this blackfishing controversy came more drama as people started looking into Jessie's past with Little Mix. Soon one of the girl group's members came forward saying that she had actually warned Jessie about blackfishing and how it's wrong, but Jessie still did it anyway, and even went so far as to claim that no one ever commented on it until this video came out. It made a lot of people see how messy this girl group was and had people speculating what really went down when Jessie left the group. And finally, at number 1, Britney Spears. Probably the biggest scandal to come out this year was the Free Britney movement and the drama surrounding her conservatorship. After the Free Britney documentary was released months ago, people got to really see what Britney's life was like behind the scenes and how the people around her led her to where she is today. The biggest concern with this movement was regarding her conservatorship, as the public learned what the singer can and cannot do. Many people said that this hold on her life was too extreme and there was a battle to get her out of the conservatorship held by her father Jamie. Luckily, after multiple court cases, testimonies, family drama, as well as media coverage and social media support, Britney's father petitioned to end his daughter's conservatorship and he was suspended from her conservatorship as well. Now Britney is engaged and has more freedom than she has in a while.
In spot number 10, we have James Franco. It's hard to pick just one scandal that changed the way people viewed him. It might have been the time he was caught trying to rent out a hotel room for him and a 16-year-old girl that he was chatting with online, or the time he wore a Time's Up movement pin to an award show and then other actresses came forward and made sexual misconduct claims against him. But perhaps it's the most recent one in 2019 when 2 of his former students from his acting school in LA sued him for various claims of sexual misconduct. Since then, his entire career collapsed and he has been totally blacklisted in Hollywood. Even his former co-star and good friend Seth Rogen announced that he has separated himself from James and said that he will not be working with him ever again. As for the lawsuit, it reached a settlement last month in June 2021 and he agreed to pay $2.23 million to settle it, despite denying the claims and calling his former students attention hungry. Up next, number 9, we have Jussie Smollett. His scandal was one of the biggest controversies of 2019 and is still an ongoing problem that he struggles with to this day. On January 29th, 2019, news articles surfaced saying he was in the hospital after being attacked by 2 men who allegedly put a rope around his neck, beat him, and poured chemicals on him. The reports claimed they were yelling racial and homophobic slurs, so it was being treated as a hate crime. The 2 suspects were arrested, but in court they revealed that it was actually all set up by Jussie and even showed a check that he paid them to stage the whole thing. On February 21st, he was arrested on suspicion of filing a false police report and was charged with 6 counts of lying to police, all of which he pleaded not guilty to. But prosecutors ended up dropping all the charges, which the Chicago police argued, saying that the actor got off scot-free. An investigator has been hired since then to further investigate and prosecute him, so the scandal is still not over. Cruising in number 8, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you're someone who has strong feelings about loyalty, then this one will bother you. Back in 2011, a bombshell was dropped when it was announced that he and his then wife, Maria Shriver, were separating after 25 years together. But the reason why is what really shocked people. Turns out he had an affair with their housekeeper while his family was on vacation, and he stayed behind to shoot a movie at the time. But it was not just a one-time fling. It was revealed that he had been having a secret ongoing relationship with her outside of his marriage and even had a secret child with her in 1997. Obviously, he had not been very involved in his secret son's life all those years, but has since put an effort in. The 2 of them now have a very good relationship together and they even work out together. His son Joseph is his identical twin and he honestly looks like Arnold when he was younger. It's crazy how much they look like. Signing in number 7, we have Chris Brown. The singer shocked the entire world back in 2009 when he was charged with felony after an altercation with his then girlfriend Rihanna. Photos surfaced and showed the brutal attack, showing her face battered and bruised. He ended up pleading guilty to the charges and was sentenced to serve 5 years probation and 1,400 hours of community service. He was very honest in interviews regarding the incident and said, I quote, "I remember she tried to kick me, but then I really hit her with a closed fist, like I punched her and busted her lip, and when I saw it I was in shock. I was like, why did I hit her like that?" His career has never been the same ever since then, but Rihanna ended up having a very forgiving heart. She later dropped the restraining order against him, and the two of them are still close friends to this day, claiming that she will always have love for him and happy that he is in a better place now. Making his way into number 6 is Shane Dawson. He held the title of King of YouTube for many years, but that all changed in June 2020 with one of the biggest YouTube scandals of all time. Video clips from some of his old content resurfaced and showed him saying very racist remarks and making inappropriate comments about. He lost over 1 million subscribers in just 2 weeks, and the Smith family even lashed out on him online. Yes, I'm talking about Will Smith and his wife Jada. They had a reason to lash out though. YouTube ended up demonetizing all 3 of his channels so that he couldn't make money off any future videos or any of his old ones. He issued an apology video but has not returned to YouTube ever since then, and it has been a year since the scandal went down. He recently posted on social media though that he's going to make his fans proud this year, and rumor has it he might make his return to YouTube.
At number 5, Chrissy Teigen. For Chrissy Teigen, the internet hasn't been the greatest place to be after she got cancelled for bullying Courtney Stodden when they were younger. Chrissy had some old tweets and DMs leaked which showed some very offensive messages to Courtney from back when they were still a teenager. Courtney rose to fame after they married Doug Hutchison when they were still very young, and this sparked international attention and also seemingly saw Chrissy turn into a very mean person as they allegedly sent a number of hateful messages to Courtney. Courtney spoke out about how they received such hateful messages from Chrissy, where they said that these hateful messages and harassment that they received from Chrissy back then came during a very hard time in their life and didn't really help them navigate the pain that they were feeling at the time. Chrissy has since apologized to Courtney for her actions, but after seeing many of the messages and tweets, a lot of fans aren't quick to forget what Chrissy has done. Chrissy has even started losing work because of this, so this scandal isn't done affecting her life just yet. At number 4, DaBaby. This one is still fairly new, but rapper DaBaby is the latest celebrity to be cancelled, and this controversy comes after he said some pretty offensive things while on stage performing at Rolling Loud in Miami. While on stage, the rapper made some comments about the gay community as well as HIV and AIDS, calling it a quote, deadly sexually transmitted disease that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks, end quote. He also went on to say some more homophobic things about gay men to add fuel to the fire. Celebrities like Dua Lipa and Elton John have condemned the rapper's comments and tried to educate the public on what DaBaby said, how it was wrong, and are trying to educate the public specifically on HIV and AIDS to put the stigma spread by DaBaby's comments to rest. Because of the scandal, the rapper is in some deep trouble with a lot of fans, especially those in the LGBT community. At number 3, Bill and Melinda Gates. Another celebrity breakup that caused quite the scandal was that between Bill and Melinda Gates. The Microsoft co-founder and his philanthropist wife recently announced to the public that they had made the difficult decision to separate, ending their marriage of 27 years. Together, the couple have 3 adult children and even created a foundation together which they launched back in 2000. The couple released a statement on social media that read, quote, "After a great deal of thought and a lot of work in our relationship, we have made the decision to end our marriage. Over the last 27 years, we have raised 3 incredible children and built a foundation that works all over the world to enable people to live healthy, productive lives. We continue to share a belief in that mission, but we no longer believe we can grow together as a couple in the next phase of our lives." After they announced their separation, people started wondering why they called it quits, and it was alleged that this idea to divorce started years ago as Melinda put things in order to leave her husband after he got too close to Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of drama and scandal came out of a simple divorce, but we'll just have to wait and see what's next. At number 2, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Earlier this year, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry sat down for an exclusive interview with Oprah where they went in depth about their split from the royal family as well as their feelings of having been a part of it. A lot of information was shared as they opened up a lot about their life, and it ended up causing quite the controversy. The couple spoke a lot about their perspective in the royal family, speaking out about their mental health, and Meghan even opened up saying that there was a time where she wanted to take her own life. That last comment is what really caused a stir as people started questioning her mental health and whether that statement was actually true or not. The biggest debate came from TV presenter Piers Morgan, and he had a lot to say about Meghan and the interview, so much so that he ended up losing his job because he went overboard with the criticisms and hate. This interview was just supposed to be a casual thing, but because of all the information that was shared that day, it blew up into a huge scandal that was in the news for weeks. At number 10, Lil Nas X. This year, Lil Nas X made a lot of headlines. He released a new album, rocked red carpets, but also got himself into quite the scandal as well. On March 26, 2021, Lil Nas X released his song Montero, or Call Me By Your Name, and both the song and subsequent music video was hit with a lot of backlash. The song included some adult themes, as it would, but the majority of the backlash for this release came from the rapper's music video. The video had a heaven and hell theme and included Nas dancing for the devil, so to speak. You know what I mean. A lot of people didn't like the video because of how raunchy it was and because of the biblical imagery and themes. But as if that wasn't enough backlash, Nas also got himself into some pretty big trouble when he released a collaborative shoe with Mischief that they called the Satan shoe. These sneakers were a redesign of the Nike Air Max 97s, and because this design wasn't authorized by Nike, Nas and Mischief got in trouble. They also faced backlash for putting a quote, single drop of human blood in the sole of the shoe. For a couple of weeks, Nas faced all kinds of backlash, but he didn't let that knock him down. He remained pretty unfazed by the whole thing and bounced back from the scandal with no problem, but for a couple of weeks there, he became Twitter's public enemy #1. At number 9, David Dobrik. YouTuber and former Viner David Dobrik is one of YouTube's biggest creators, but this year he got royally cancelled. Other than being super popular on the platform with over 18 million subscribers, he's also found success in Hollywood as well, since he's been cast on TV shows as a host and judge on a few game shows. However, this year David's popularity started to fall and his praise turned into scrutiny as people started to come forward with allegations of and bullying against David. Former members of David's YouTube friend group called the Vlog Squad came forward calling David out for bullying and creating a toxic environment, as well as orchestrating pranks that resulted in one friend getting hurt. On top of that, a former fan came forward naming a Vlog Squad member as the person who hurt them while they were under the influence, and also called David out for filming part of their alleged. Because of David's content, he caused a lot of controversy, emotional pain, and distress, and he's only recently bounced back from the drama he faced earlier this year. Before we carry on reflecting on this year's past scandals, why not leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, maybe consider smashing that subscribe button as well to see more videos like this one. At number 8, Armie Hammer. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this scandal by now, but this one has to be on the list because it was the first one that really blew up this year and it kicked off the celebrity scandals of 2021. Back in January, some of Armie's private messages with other women came to light, depicting the actor in a not so flattering way. The messages leaked by the Instagram page House of Effie exposed the actor for his bedroom fantasies, among other adult things, and this created a snowball effect that led to multiple people coming forward with their own allegations of misconduct against the actor. Things took a serious turn and soon an investigation was launched to look into some of the claims made by some of Armie's alleged victims. Because of the scandal and its severity, this took a huge toll on Armie and his career. As we know, no one is quick to forget a scandal like this one in Hollywood, so as a result of the drama and allegations against him, Armie started losing everything he worked for, including movie roles and representation in the industry. No one knows what the next step is for him, or even if there is a next step for him to take. At number 7, Marilyn Manson. Another really huge scandal that happened this year came from singer Marilyn Manson, and it caused a lot of drama in Hollywood and the music industry. It all started when his ex-partner, actress Evan Rachel Wood, came forward with an Instagram post calling out Manson as someone who had harmed her for a long time. In her statement, Evan cited how manipulative Marilyn was, accusing him of brainwashing her and telling her fans about how Manson had caused her so much mental, physical, and emotional pain. This caused even more people to come forward later on, including Game of Thrones actress Esme Bianco, who came forward with some of the horrible encounters that she had with Manson. Following this scandal, Manson was dropped from his music label and the LA County Sheriff's Department began an investigation looking into some of the allegations against the singer. At number 6, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. This year, the annual Met Gala came back after being skipped last year due to the pandemic. We knew that something dramatic was bound to happen, but no one expected that it would come from Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. AOC showed up to the event this year wearing a white dress that had the words "Tax the Rich" written in red on the back. It was designed to be a political statement about the ongoing debate on whether the wealthiest people should be paying taxes like the rest of us, but instead of sparking a conversation about it, people instead started calling AOC a hypocrite for trying to make this statement at an event that is attended by Hollywood elites who pay 30 grand for a ticket. This became a hot topic on social media and in the news, but AOC didn't really face too much heat for it. It just made a lot of people mad, but hey, it did get people talking, right?
Number 5 on this list is the cheating scandal from Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson. It feels like this is a perpetual story in the media, but once again, it's glaring its ugly head in 2021. Back in March, Khloe posted a really cute Instagram photo of her and Tristan with their kid at a fancy event for Tristan Thompson's birthday. The couple looked really happy, and she captioned the picture, "The ones that are meant to be are the ones who go through everything that is designed to tear them apart, and they come out even stronger than they were before. Thank you for showing me everything you said you would, for the father you are, for the best friend I have in you. I'm thankful I can do absolutely nothing with you, and it feels like everything." Well, I'm happy that you feel that way, Khloe, but clearly Tristan did not feel the same. Only a few months later, the pair broke up again when Tristan was seen entering a bedroom with 3 other women and was apparently parading himself as being single. Apparently now, the pair aren't fully back together, but they're spending lots of quality time together. So we'll see how that develops in time. Number 4 on this list is Ioan Gruffudd and the whole incident with his family. Ioan has been in countless movies and TV shows over his long career, and his ex-wife, Alice Evans, is no stranger to movies and TV either, having been in her own fair share of things. Well, on January 6th of this year, she tweeted out, "Sad news. My beloved husband / soulmate of 20 years, Ioan Gruffudd, has just announced he is to leave his family starting next week. Me and our young girls are very confused and sad. We haven't been given a reason except that he no longer loves me. I'm so sorry." So yeah, that was a lot, guys. Now, first thing I would say about this is that when reading this now deleted tweet, you can tell that she's upset. And I mean, rightfully so. Her husband of 20 years is completely leaving, and you have a right to be hurt. She does say that he doesn't give her a reason, and I hate to say, but I do think he does. Not loving someone, in my mind, is a pretty sizable reason, but I can only imagine that after 20 years, that has to be a heartbreaking blow. Now, what has not been confirmed is whether he was leaving his daughters as well, or just wanting to separate from his wife. So we still don't really know about that, but this scandal has actually recently got a development too. Alice Evans has accused Ioan of having an affair for 3 years while they were together. Whether that's true or not, we're gonna have to wait and see. Number 3 on this list is Kanye and Kim. You had to know that it would be on this list, but the split between Kim Kardashian and Kanye West sent waves through the internet when it happened. The pair had been married for 6 years, however rumors started to surface about cracks in their marital foundation. This all came bubbling up to the surface when footage of Kim was released where she was crying to her sisters, "Why am I still in this, like, place where I'm stuck for years? Like, he goes and moves to a different state every year. I have to be together so I can raise the kids, you know?" She goes on to say that Kanye deserves somebody that can support his every move and go follow him all over the place and move to Wyoming. She says, "I can't do that. I feel like an effing failure that it's like a third effing marriage." Obviously, Kim wasn't happy to be losing another marriage, but realized that it was in her best overall interest. The split was civil, however some lines from Kanye's album Donda allude to a lot of mistrust in the relationship. Clearly this marriage had been flawed for a while. I mean, Kanye lived in a different state than Kim for most of the time, and they barely saw each other. Not really the romantic foundation that a marriage should be built off of. Number 2 is Britney Spears' conservatorship case. Back in 2008, the pop star's career was put in the hands of a legal guardian due to her mental health being severely in question. The agreement had her father control her estate and other aspects of her life. Now, this was intended to help Britney as she went to rehab and got her career and life back in order. However, she has come out and said that her father has done quite the opposite. That she was apparently drugged and forced to perform against her will. That her father prevented her from having more children under this thing. Basically, that he was running every aspect of her life and she couldn't live like this anymore. This sparked the social media to come to her aid with a whole movement that was meant to free Britney. Very recently, this goal was accomplished and her power-hungry father was stripped of his title, and thankfully, Britney was able to get her freedom back. The whole thing is just so icky, and I, for one, I'm really happy to see her getting some control back in her life. Number 1 on this list is the ongoing lawsuit against Shia LaBeouf. The former Transformer star has been in the tabloids for some time now due to a lawsuit filed by his ex-girlfriend, FKA Twigs, in regards to behavior during their relationship. Now, the abuse that she was suing him over dealt with emotional and physical stuff that spanned their entire dating history. LaBeouf was dating Margaret Qualley at the start of 2021, but that didn't last very long, and amid all of these rumors circling him, the couple went their separate ways. It should also be noted that the actor has recently been dropped from several films and projects that he was supposed to be scheduled to work on. It seems like the common theme here is that his mental health is not where it needs to be right now. Substance abuse also seems to be a common topic in this lawsuit, and from others that have reported inappropriate behavior from the actor. Only time will tell how this lawsuit develops and if LaBeouf will be able to right the ship and hopefully get himself clean.
At number 10, Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X has been on a roll with his music lately, but with success comes a lot of attention, and when you get attention from the wrong people, bad things can happen. On March 26, 2021, Lil Nas X released his song Montero, or Call Me By Your Name, and both the song and subsequent music video was hit with a lot of backlash. The song itself was about a man he met in 2020 who was living a lifestyle of partying and using substances, who he was seeing. The song included some adult themes, as it would, but the majority of the backlash for this release came from the rapper's music video. The video had a heaven and hell theme and included Nas dancing for the devil, so to speak. A lot of people didn't like the video because of how raunchy it was and because of the biblical imagery and themes. But as if that wasn't enough backlash, Nas also got into some pretty big trouble when he released a collaborative shoe with Mischief that they called the Satan shoe. These kicks were a redesign of the Nike Air Max 97s, and because this design wasn't authorized by Nike, Nas and Mischief got in trouble. They also faced backlash for putting a quote single drop of human blood in the sole of the shoe. For a couple of weeks, Nas faced all kinds of backlash, but he did not let that knock him down. At number 9, Kim K and Kanye. Another scandal that unfolded this year was the breakup between Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. After getting married in 2014 and welcoming 4 kids together, the couple decided to end their marriage, and it had everyone talking. Kim and Kanye's relationship looked like it had been on its last leg for a while, especially after all the drama between Kanye and the Kardashians following his presidential campaign rant and Twitter meltdowns, and all the statements that the Kardashians had to make on Kanye's behalf. There was, however, a lot more going on behind the scenes that we didn't quite know about, and as this information started coming out, the scandal just got bigger. Every episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians was just another opportunity to fans to dig deeper into Kim's failing marriage and to see where things really went wrong. Since the initial announcement, things have died down a bit, but as more information comes out, like Kanye seeing someone new, fans hop right back on that tea spill train. Now, before I carry on with the list, I would like to take a moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also consider taking some time to check out my gaming channel Viper Girl. It's super fun and I upload daily, so come check it out and subscribe while you're there. At number 8, Armie Hammer. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this scandal by now, but this one had to be on this list because it was the first one that really blew up this year, and it had everyone talking as it involved a more serious issue. Back in January, some of Armie's private messages with other women came to light, depicting the actor in a not so flattering way. The messages leaked by the Instagram page House of Effie exposed the actor for his bedroom fantasies, among other adult things, and created a snowball effect that led to people coming forward with their own allegations of misconduct against the actor. Things took a serious turn, and soon an investigation was launched into some of the claims made by some of Armie's alleged victims. Because of the scandal and its severity, this took a huge toll on Armie and his career. As we know, no one is quick to forget a scandal like this in the world of Hollywood, and so as a result of the drama and allegations against him, Armie started losing everything he worked for, including movie roles and representation in the industry. No one knows what the next step is for him, or even if there is a next step for him to take. At number 7, Marilyn Manson. Another really huge scandal that happened this year came from singer Marilyn Manson, and it shocked a lot of people. It all started when his ex-partner, actress Evan Rachel Wood, came forward in an Instagram post to name Manson as someone who had harmed her for a long time. In her statement, Evan cited how manipulative Marilyn was, accused him of brainwashing her, and told her fans about how Manson caused her so much mental, physical, and emotional pain. This caused more people to come forward later on, including Game of Thrones actress Esme Bianco, who came forward with some horrible encounters that she had with Manson. Following this scandal, Manson was dropped from his music label, and the LA County Sheriff's Department began an investigation into some of the allegations against the singer. Manson has hit rock bottom in his career and social status, which honestly seems only fair given the pain that he's caused so many other people. At number 6, Chris Harrison. What's reality TV without a little scandal, right? I mean, with every season of The Bachelor or Bachelorette, there's at least one scandal, but this time was different because it was much more serious and it led to someone losing their job. The show's longtime host Chris Harrison landed himself in some hot water this year after he started facing backlash for comments that he made about one of the contestants' past. At the beginning of the Bachelor season earlier this year, photos of one of the Bachelor contestants were leaked which showed her in a few compromising situations, specifically of her attending an antebellum themed party, and many fans saw this as highly offensive and racist. When this scandal first broke, a conversation was obviously sparked, but when asked about his take on the situation, Chris ended up offending people as he responded saying that it was just in the past. In an interview on Extra with former Bachelor/Bachelorette contestant Rachel Lindsay, when asked about this contestant's controversial photos, Chris seemingly was dismissive of her actions, of her being at this party, and continued to try and defend his stance by saying that he didn't want to make any comments before the contestant in question had spoken out first. Instead of helping the situation, fans of the show saw this as perpetuating racism, and so he was cancelled. As a result of this, Chris was let go from the show, and many are under the impression that he will not be returning anytime soon, if at all.
Halfway through at number 5 is James Charles. Earlier this year, he faced a ton of backlash after allegations came forward from two underage men who claimed that James had been talking to them and having inappropriate conversations with them on social media. The claims came with screenshots of flirty messages from the YouTuber, but James said that they told him they were 18 years old. People were very upset because they said that he should have known simply by looking at their Instagram pages, where you could tell because they were posting things from high school and stuff. Despite claiming they lied about their age, he agreed that he should be more responsible, especially as someone with a big platform. The worst part is this isn't the first scandal he's been involved in, with younger teens claiming that he was speaking to them inappropriately online. He has denied some of the claims from previous incidents, but this time he did take responsibility for his actions, and after months of not posting videos, he finally made his return this week. Taking over the number 4 spot is Matt Lauer. He was living his best life as the co-anchor on the Today Show, but in 2017 he was fired from the show and his entire career came crumbling down. A woman named Brooke Nevels was an employee on the show also, and filed complaints against Matt for misconduct and assault. Ronan Farrow wrote a book called Catch and Kill, and in the book it featured a very open and detailed interview with Brooke about the allegations. The interview revealed very disturbing details about the incident of a time he allegedly forced himself on her in 2014 in his hotel room. Now this is just a very light way of referencing what happened because of YouTube's policies. I can't go into it. I am not trying to undermine the very serious claims. Within 24 hours of the story coming out, he was fired from the show, and more allegations came to surface from other women. Matt denied all of these claims, saying that the encounter between him and Brooke was consensual, and he was married at the time of this incident, and because of the affair, his divorce was officially finalized in 2019. Rolling into number 3 is Harvey Weinstein. His entire life changed back in 2017 at the start of his sexual assault case, which lasted a few years and is still ongoing at the time of this recording. It began when the New York Times published a story detailing decades of allegations against him for misconduct. Some of the claims coming from his employees, and some of them even coming from other actresses in Hollywood, like Rose McGowan and Ashley Judd. As the years went on, more and more allegations came to surface, and he lost his whole career and reputation in the Hollywood industry. In 2020, he finally got his sentencing after a long legal battle, and he is currently serving his 23-year term in prison. Updates on his case came though just a few days ago on July 20th, when reports revealed he was extradited from New York to Los Angeles to face additional charges. His lawyers had tried to negotiate to stop the transfer, but the judge approved it. We will see what happens with these charges. He could be facing even more years added to his term. Swiping our number 2 spot is Woody Allen. Before his scandal came to surface, he was known as a legendary film director, actor, and comedian. His career has successfully lasted more than 6 decades, but that all changed when the world found out he was in a romantic relationship with his wife's adopted daughter, who was much younger than him. A documentary came out this year called Allen vs. Farrow, referring to his now ex-wife Mia Farrow. The documentary uncovers how she found out about their secret relationship and the damage it has done to their family. But the documentary also revealed that he had allegedly assaulted her other daughter, Dylan Farrow. The documentary explores all the very disturbing details of their marriage and the allegations and the legal battles they have faced. Woody continues to say that the claims within the documentary are not true and only admitted to falling in love with her adopted daughter when she was legal of age. But that is the big debate of this entire scandal, just how old she was when things started between them. Not to mention, it's freaking weird. In our number 1 spot is Bill Cosby. He was once one of the biggest actors in Hollywood until he was accused by more than 50 people for assault and misconduct. The allegations started to surface in 2014 and reference claims that went back as far as 1965 and spanned to 2008. He was battling all of these horrific allegations for years, but was found guilty on April 26, 2018 for 3 counts of aggravated assault. Then on September 25, 2018, he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in state prison, plus fines of $25,000 and $43,000. However, the world is currently in a frenzy because news broke that he was just released from prison due to process violation at his 2018 trial, which overturned his conviction. The prosecutor, Kevin Steele, said in a statement, I quote, "Mr. Cosby was found guilty by a jury and now goes free on a procedural issue that is irrelevant to the facts of the crime." Whatever that means. Obviously, many people do not agree with this and think that he just got out because of his celebrity status.